Well, for more on the events unfolding in Syria, we can talk now to investigative journalist Michel Collon, who joins us from Brussels. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. France and Britain are calling on the UN Security Council to condemn the government crackdown against protesters in Syria, saying that President Assad is losing legitimacy. Isn't that the way the military involvement in Libya began?
Yes, you're right. It's exactly the same. And you have to consider the reasons why the USA and allies want to overrule the governments in Libya and Syria. It's because these two regimes have been since a long time opposed to the domination of the United States on the Middle East, opposed to the Israeli colonialism, and it has been demonstrated recently also in the Washington Post that all these groups and opposition media were financed by the USA themselves, by the CIA, the National Endowment for Democracy. And for example, a cable leaked by WikiLeaks recently said that the embassy was very afraid that it would be now open publicly that all this opposition is fabricated and financed by the US. You have, of course, social problems and democratic problems in these countries, I do not deny. But if you want really to establish justice and democracy, why is the USA doing nothing against Saudi Arabia, the most backwards and repressive regime in the world?
The resolution London and Paris are seeking at the moment doesn't call for either sanctions or for military action, but they know Russia and China are strongly opposed to any kind of resolution. So are they trying to push through this watered-down version now, only to interpret it perhaps in a different way later, like we saw with the no-fly zone in Libya?
Yes, you are right. Everybody could see that they promised with the UN resolution against Libya that they would only protect the civilians. And now they are bombarding Tripoli. They have killed much more people, more civilians, so-called to protect them. And I recently met, yesterday, I met people who came back from Tripoli, and the situation is horrible. The Western media do not show the disaster. And yes, of course, everybody can see that they have lied. And this resolution was only a pretext. They want to overrule. They want to kill Gaddafi. And now, of course, they see it will be difficult to repeat the same lies. I think the resolution are only a way to increase the tension and to prepare, indeed, future aggressions.
The UN atomic watchdog is also closing in on Syria. It's discussing whether a facility destroyed by Israeli planes in 2007 was a nuclear site. Do you think this is also a way to put pressure on Damascus from another direction, per se?
I think this is a way to take us for idiots. This is a repetition of the weapons of massive destructions. If you are really concerned about nuclear weapons, then why are the US keeping themselves? The US is the only country who use them. And if you consider the case of the Middle East, this trick has been used already. I mean, in the Middle East, you have Israel, who has nuclear weapons, more than 200, who refuses to be in the Treaty of Non-Proliferation and who refuses any inspection. Nobody speaks about that. Everybody speaks about Iran, who doesn't have nuclear weapons, who signed the treaty, accepts inspection. And so this is just to take people fool, to have a pretext to demonize a country and to make the people panic.
Just briefly, I want to go back to a possible UN resolution on Syria. If the Security Council passes it, what will happen as you see it?
Well, it depends, because the aggression against Libya is not successful. They already repeated that Gaddafi had to go, and now some accept that there will be a negotiation. So I don't know how it will. I cannot say how will it the evolution. The fact is that you've got now a big offensive of the United States and the Saudi Arabia. Do not forget that Saudi Arabia is financing paramilitary groups in Syria to provoke tensions. And do not forget that dozens of policemen have been killed by these kind of groups. Saudi Arabia and other Emirates are organizing the privatization of war and coup d'etat, and they are working for the CIA. So do not forget that. And it's difficult to tell who's going to win. On the one side, US is risking to lose its allies, Egypt and others, and on the other side, they try to counterattack to benefit of these evolutions to overrule two regimes that are very resistant to them.
Michel Collon, live with us on the line from Brussels, investigative journalist. Thank you very much for your analysis.